So as we prepare for a few tournaments coming up, we've been working on combat sparring and tournament sparring and also judging with our teen and adult black belts. One of the things that kept coming up this week was just to make sure that as judges, we understand what perspective and vantage point or line of sight is. So through going through rounds, often one judge would score a point for red and one judge would score a point for white. And in a discussion, the outcome would usually be that one judge felt like maybe they possibly made the wrong call. So we discussed, and I mentioned that no, you made the right call based off of what you could see, and the other judge made the right call based off of what they saw. And realistically, each judge could have easily seen two different things. One thing that students, instructors, and even spectators or parents may not fully understand is just how exactly points are awarded in sparring. Not how points are scored, we know 1 point to the body, 2 points to the head, but how they are awarded by the judges. First off, we must understand what perspective is or what vantage point, what the line of sight actually means. In order for a judge to accurately award a point, the point must have been scored visibly inside of judge's line of sight. There are 3 judges, and each judge has a different line of sight at multiple times during the match. Again, often you will see one judge award a point to red and one judge award a point to white. Why is this? This is due to what that specific judge can see from their vantage point. In a spectator's mind, they may seem like 2 judges are watching completely different matches. Well, in fact, they're watching the same match, but from completely different views. This image right here is a line of sight from the center judge's position. You can clearly see that a point is being scored with a strike to the head. As you move to a different line of sight, here's from the corner judge's perspective, you can clearly see that a point is being scored with a 1 point to the body. However, it's completely different as to what the center judge is seeing, so these 2 judges are going to call something different. Now, this image is from the other corner judge's line of sight. As you can see, this judge could call a point either way depending on their opinion of who scored first, in which he would agree with one of the judges and that student or that person may get a point. However, this judge could also call a block if they feel the contact was made simultaneously, which in this case, all 3 judges would see something completely different, so there would be no points awarded. Since the judges are constantly moving side to side in an effort to get a better line of sight, often a judge may line up right behind a competitor or in line with both competitors because the competitors are constantly moving also. In this case, if a point is scored, this judge may call a no-see due to the fact that they cannot accurately make a decisive call because their line of sight is blocked at that moment. This is the center judge's view in sparring. You can see that there's a point being scored. As we move to the corner judge, you can see that something different is being viewed, a different point is being scored. And again, just like the combat sparring, you can see that this judge could call either way or a block for a simultaneous strike. And then there is no clear view due to movement, and here is the same thing as far as the line of sight being blocked in that moment being lined up with the competitors. As we watch this 360 view of the situation, we can see that the line of sight changes as the camera moves. So does the outcome of who could possibly score a point or earn a point. 3 judges, 5 judges, 30 judges, 100 judges, 1,000 judges. It doesn't matter how many judges, each person is going to have a different line of sight, so a lot of judges as you go around are going to have different points scored. As students, instructors, parents, spectators watching from the sidelines, we must understand that your line of sight may not be the exact same as the judge's line of sight. As we watch from a different angle, we may very well see a point being scored that a judge wasn't in a position to see. A fair judge is only going to call a point if they physically see contact being made. They shouldn't ever call what they think might have possibly happened. And the only way to really fully understand this is by experiencing judging from the actual judge's position. I hope this explains a little bit more in depth about what actually happens inside that ring from a judging perspective. As we were working on this week, we had these discussions. There was a couple moments where the students, who could possibly wind up being judges, really kind of understood, wow, how everything does change depending on the position that you're seeing. Sometimes a point might get missed due to just not seeing the contact at that time. The explanation was really good in class, and it was super impactful and educational. Just wanted to share this with everybody as we prepare for these tournaments or future tournaments coming up. Also keep in mind that this is one of potentially 100 different scenarios that could happen in sparring, but hopefully this helps us a little bit.